I want to talk about something that's been on my mind for a long time and just share my thoughts and hopefully get your opinion on this as well. So the title of this video is, should artists still put effort in their work? And I know what you're thinking. Well, yeah, of course. But let me explain what I mean exactly. Over the last few years, the internet and the internet culture has shifted towards short form videos. It started with TikTok, of course, and then basically it was so successful that every other app decided it needs to copy TikTok. This has greatly impacted not only our attention spans, but also how most people consume art and music. Most successful songs nowadays start with a viral hit on TikTok. Then people will eventually go check it out on Spotify, go to the artist shows or whatever. There's a reason why major labels now are trying to get their artists to create viral TikToks. That's like the only way to promote songs suddenly. And then of course, a lot of people discover music on apps like Spotify, usually on playlists, which are for the most part also algorithmically generated. So basically, algorithms created by big corporations that have monopolies on these industries determine what we're going to see and what we're going to hear. Now, let me just say that I don't think there's anything wrong with watching TikToks or listening to music on Spotify. That would be very hypocritical of me because I make short form videos and post them on TikTok and I publish my music on Spotify. So I just want to, say this in case anyone misinterprets what I'm going to say in this video. I'm not trying to put the blame for anything on the users of these apps. I'm just trying to make an observation and kind of make sense of my own thoughts. I want to talk about how this shift has actually impacted art and music and impacted our attention spans and how we value art and music as well. And it's not only impacted the apps that do these short form videos, it's impacted everything. Now, artists are basically forced to use these apps if they want to have any kind of shot at getting their work noticed, because that's where everybody is. And I feel that, at least based on my own experience, that it's getting harder and harder to actually create a meaningful connection with people. Even though it's easier than ever to get eyeballs on your work, to get views, I feel like making an actual connection with a person through art has become so difficult. And let me explain why. These apps are so fast-paced and so overwhelming. They basically never end. And I think when you use these apps, there's this kind of FOMO. There's this feeling like, oh, I don't have time to focus on anything for too long. I just gotta keep scrolling and see all the cool stuff out there. And that's what these algorithms are basically designed to do. They're designed to make you addicted and make you want to just keep scrolling and keep watching. But good art takes time to get into. Good art that is meaningful. It's more than just what you perceive on the surface level. You have to actually spend time with a work of art, with a song, to actually notice any kind of nuance and depth and meaning. When we're just quickly scrolling through apps, there's no way we're going to get any of that nuance because, there's just no time for that. Even on Spotify, for the most part, people use it as background music for something. Background music for studying, for playing games, for, whatever. How many people actually sit down and just listen to music, outside of a concert setting? Just listen to music and do nothing else. I think that is really rare nowadays. And I can't blame anyone for that. I mean, it's affected me as well because we are so overwhelmed with the amount of stuff around us that we feel like we have to keep rushing forward all the time. Now, the way social media works, when you publish something, and it doesn't matter if it's a photo of your lunch or a work of art you spent years on, it's basically going to have a very similar lifespan. If you're lucky, it might get some attention for a day or two, maybe even a week, but that's really rare nowadays. And then it's just dead, It gets sent to that big content graveyard where everything, even stuff from last week, is considered old news. And like I said, you have to be lucky to even get any attention at all because so many artists are not getting any attention. If you write music that has a slow build-up, and you're not a famous artist or anything like that, forget about it. People are just going to hear the first 2 seconds and be like, boring, next. I mean, try posting a TikTok of yourself just playing original music. And even if you write the most beautiful song in the world, it's not going to get a lot of views. People are just going to scroll right through it. And that just says a hell of a lot about our current modern culture. Even here on YouTube, it is so difficult to get people to click on a video that focuses on art and not on the other stuff, because yes, people who focus more on their personalities and make videos that are like educational content, vlogs, skits are way more likely to be able to form a human connection with people. But not everyone wants to be an entertaining personality. Some people just want to be artists. And, when I think of the artists that I love, for the most part, I don't know anything about their personalities. They don't have vlogs on YouTube or they don't make tutorial videos. I just love their art, and that's why I want to experience it. Now, this reality has caused several big issues for artists. First of all, now there's this pressure to just keep creating and posting as much as possible because you have to feed this algorithm machine all the time. And there's this feeling that if you don't post every day or every couple of days, people are just going to forget about you and stop supporting your work as an artist. This creates a lot of stress and anxiety in artists, and also eventually will lead to burnout. But not only that, it causes a reduction in quality because you're just trying to create as much as possible. You're not going to spend as much time on anything, so it's just not going to be as good as it could be. And that's kind of the point of this video. I've always believed in quality over quantity. I've always believed that artists and creators should filter their ideas and not publish every little thing that comes to their mind, but only create their very best ideas and work on them until they're actually as good as they possibly can be, and then publish them. And when I work on something personally, and I know it's like this for a lot of creators, but the bulk of the work is done actually very quickly. If I'm working on a new song, usually I'll do like 70% of it, even in one day, in a few hours. But then it's that last 30% that takes the most time. That's when I kind of live with the idea for a while. I leave it, come back to it, I sleep on it, I slowly, incrementally improve it and develop it. I play it for other people, I get their opinion, until I feel like it's as good as I can possibly make it. And only then do I publish it. But that process of like bringing it from 70% or 80% done to like as close to 100 as you can get, because it's never 100, that takes a long time. That can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years sometimes, depending on what you're doing. That's what I mean by effort. Of course, art needs to be good, but it can be good and it can be great. Of course, if someone who's a good painter paints something really quickly, it's still going to be good because they're really skilled. But if they spent another week on it, it might be much better. It might have way more details and nuances to it. Here's the thing, I'm not even sure if it's worth it anymore. Of course, it's worth it on a personal level, to make your art as good as possible for yourself. But if you're an artist who's trying to actually make a living from what you're doing, I feel like just publishing something every once in a while that you spend a lot of time on is not worth it, because people are not even going to notice all the time and effort and the details and nuances you put into it. Sometimes I feel like, maybe I should forget about trying to perfect my work. Maybe I should just make as much raw material as possible and just post something every single day, because that seems to work for a lot of people. So here's what I want to hear from you. Do you think that artists and creators should still put all this effort into making their work as good as possible, or they should just forget about that and just publish as much as possible because you just want to see as much of their work as possible? And if you're a creator, I want to hear how this has impacted you and your work as well. Do you feel like it's harder for you to actually form some kind of meaningful connection with people now? It's harder for you to get people's attention and get your work recognized at all? I just want to say that I don't think that this shift is all bad. Over the last year, I've been making short videos, mostly MIDI art videos, and I've actually really enjoyed this. It's given me an opportunity to connect with a wider audience and still make something that I find creatively fulfilling. My most played song on Spotify started as a MIDI art TikTok, and that's what drew people to Spotify. It has its good sides for sure as well, but at the same time I have this overwhelming feeling of how devalued art has become, especially now with the rise of AI generated stuff as well. It feels like there's no value anymore to a human spending a lot of time creating something. It's just like, we just want results. Like, we want to just instantly consume things and move on to the next thing. Just consume as much as possible. So yeah, that's just my thoughts today. I might change my opinion on this, but I'd love to hear what you think. Much love to you all. I'll see you soon.